Welcome back. This is GameBreakers, A Bard's Tale. This is a D&D 5th edition game. If you like what you see so far, other episodes, this episode, hit that like button. If you want to see the next one, hit subscribe. And if you want to help us do things like get our third player an internet connection that always works, hop over to our Patreon and help us upgrade all the things about this. When last we left our intrepid heroes, Struana Hardjaw was making her introductions to the masters that she needs to impress at this recital exam.
Yes.
Who do you approach next?
As I pass by Stan, where he presently is apparently looking for a seat, I'm going to be like, talk to him about his scars! And then keep going over to...
I have a big sign, by the way. It has, like, Struana #1 on it.
You're wearing her merch?
No, I would have had to have gotten it like custom made, right? And on like a really large, maybe scroll paper or framed paper. And so it looks quite nice. I was gonna say like 50 gold for getting that made.
I'll just step in a moment for CliqClaq as the character, and as soon as you say something, like, he will have the specs made, and so you have like a fantastic Gnomish like extendo sign.
You should start a screen printing business, man.
Right, you can turn a knob and it will change the text. Turn a knob. It's got 3 settings.
I definitely feel uplifted by this. Send him like signals of I love you, but I have to keep my feet moving this direction.
Right.
Yeah.
You feel like he's there in spirit.
Let's see. So,
Struana, are you wearing the earring as part of your costume?
No.
Okay.
There was a reducing potential outside distractions because it's important. It's still in a bag. It's still in a pouch. Like, if I need that, that's still on me. But
right. Doesn't go.
That's
doesn't
a don't
go
leave home without it thing. But I can't be listening in or talking about things effective right now. All right, I approach this one. Who's this one?
That is Alpero Teneric. He is a nebbish-looking fellow, human, if I remember correctly.
Half elf, like the classic.
And he's interacting a little bit with people around him, but for most of the thing, he's been reading your libretto.
I don't know what a libretto is.
It's the book they give out at operas that tells you all the words.
Okay, thanks. So a walking into his line of sight and good evening.
Journeyman. Was just reading over your translations. Adequate. Adequate.
Did I make any errors?
There's some more precise connotations in some of these phrases than can really be translated into common, of course, but especially keeping in the rhythm and themes, adequate.
I would sincerely be interested in your input for improvement. One can always improve their art. I feel like I want to just like cheat out and roll a charisma roll.
You'll, of course, be performing them in the native languages, yes?
I don't genuinely remember. I think that was the plan, Thomas.
And we had only kind of roughly sketched out what each of these might entail and be, so.
But I think the ones that do have words are, yes, being performed in the correct tongue.
Okay.
So from like 4 to 8 on that is practice pronunciation.
Well, I look forward to your arrangements.
Can I get, is it insight or charisma, to get a sense of if he would prefer a humble asking or a I'm sure I know what I'm doing, in that sort of range where he falls in that? Would that be insight, charisma, what?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd call it an insight, wisdom check, insight proficiency.
15.
So he's in no way particularly deceptive. He seems to regard you like someone else's prized student. He has that I'm a professor in a different department, but recognizes you as an excellent student, but still a student.
I'm going to try and engage him on a conversation in classics specifically, and asking him like, which, oh, there's a way to ask that. Which culture group do you feel has the most powerful classics, or is there a mythological trend that flows through all of them?
They're all uniquely interesting. I have more interest in the classic works of the Republic history. It's my own area of specialty. The subject material has been mined rather heavily, though. There's not much new to find, and it's not really creating anything interesting in this generation. He goes on boringly, and
that's okay. I'm gonna listen incredibly interested. I can do this.
All right. So he goes on about some more minutia for a minute, cultural tendencies. It's one of those people that uses pop music as a cultural analysis tool.
It is a cultural analysis tool. What do you mean?
I know, but not everybody uses it that way. He's one that does.
Okay. I'm into this conversation then.
All right. The time ticks on, and he eventually catches himself. He's like, I'm droning. You caught me. Very good of you. I'm sure you have other appointments to keep before curtain.
The material, sir, was fascinating and a gift for you.
Much appreciated. Okay.
All right. Okay, so are these, I think, is Jubal going to be my next hit then, all the way up here with Harridan?
Could be.
I think that, all right, heading up to Jubal.
All right. Jubal and Harridan are commiserating quietly about the price of tea in the Southern Islands.
How British.
They're speaking very intensely on the subject, though.
Is that a do not interrupt hint, or is that a interrupt obnoxiously so that they know to stop talking hint? Because those are
no. As Jubal notices you approach, he kind of like waves a finger over to, or as Harridan sees you approach, waves a finger to Jubal. Jubal nods as though he had already seen it, and just briefly wraps up. Understood. We'll speak more on this later. Sure, anyway. A pleasure to see you again.
A pleasure to see you again as well. Is it Lord of Secrets? Is that what his title is?
Master of Secrets.
Master of Secrets. No, I'll get it. The character gets it correct.
I've heard many stories of your exploits since last we spoke. You seem to continue to make waves for yourself, as noted.
If one has two choices, one should pick the one which makes the better story.
Well, so far you seem to be living up to your motto. What have you got planned for us tonight, then?
You can easily see it on the list, but I tried for a variety of styles, technicalities, and original work.
Mm-hmm. And I trust none of that original work will violate your agreement with the dragon.
What was the agreement with the dragon? What did I agree with the
That was never to speak of the island.
I forgot. That's the thing. But I can tell about getting attacked by a land shark with a bunch of gnomes without talking about the island. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways to talk about that don't include, and I was on an island.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Struana didn't forget, Diamond forgot. Completely different thing. There's no way Struana forgot the dragon made me take a promise. Diamond has another life. So it's like, of course not. And how do you, was he there for that? Why don't I remember this? I don't remember this at all, Thomas. You found a curveball.
As a reminder of where to look in your notes, this is when the dragon pulled you all into a little pocket to speak with you, and specifically dropped the topaz on the table.
Oh, that's correct. So okay. So in that case, having said that, like, why would you even ask such a thing? Of course not. And it surprises me not at all that you know about that.
Well, of course. It comes with the title. I have to know everything.
Do you know how well I will do tonight?
If I did, I wouldn't tell you. That's the other half of the title.
That's fair. Then I might perform only to expectations and not better.
Well, I expect the best you've got.
That I certainly intend to give. As well as this for you.
Harridan, you shouldn't have. And Harridan tips his hat. I appreciate the gesture. You've got a good mentor here. Live up to him, hmm?
Like a nod and a like eyebrow raise, like making it friendly smile. Yeah. I swear this comes easier in real life.
Right. And feel free to ask if you need any information on the crowd. Within reason, obviously.
If you mention it, I did not expect, or frankly, I didn't expect the crowd at all, but I also did not expect Baroness Marshall Averlane Rocks. Did I get that right? Close enough. To arrive, and I have nothing for her or Desiree, but it seems to me that I need to engage with them. A hint in the right direction to make that engagement positive would be appreciated.
Aberline is here on a political engagement that doesn't directly have anything to do with you on the stage. And she's here to broker a deal.
And Desiree?
Desiree? She's the go-between.
Desiree.
Really?
I thought you said Desiree when you said that, Thomas. Sorry. Desiree.
Right. Desiree. She's the go-between. Clearly. She's
That makes
a
sense.
trusted courier. She keeps a lot of pillow talk very quiet.
I'm
Okay.
trying to figure out if there's anything else I can ask him that's effective, but at this point the set list is done. Like, I'm not
Right.
going to make any changes. This is past the point of no new ideas. So,
If you'd like to make an approach, if you think you'd like to meet the Baroness Marshall, I would suggest you bring your Paladin friend on your arm. He's the most interesting thing here to her, besides Chalcen and his money.
Thank you for that. That is distinctly helpful.
Well, every time I help you out, I pay off a favor to Harridan.
Eyebrows at Harridan, like, man, teach me your ways.
That's all right. He owes me plenty, too.
It is distinctly appreciated from both of you, and I do hope that you enjoy the show.
I already have. But you're going to be great. And he goes back and orders another drink.
All right. So I'm gonna go down to Chelsea.
Go for it. The Sahuagin Challenge.
Chalcedony? Chalcedony?
Yep.
Okay. I wrote it down this time. The problem with Sahuagin was I never wrote it down. And I was just trying to remember it. This isn't like Bob or John or Sophie or Nate or Hardison or Elliot or Parker.
Right. Or all the other easy ones. So chalcedony is feathers dyed in opalescent and iridescent colors, rare paints, and her beak is festooned with jewels. It looks like a 13-year-old girl went nuts with a bedazzling set.
That is my aesthetic.
A barely there sheer and sequin number. Like you were not as familiar with Arakosra anatomy and physiology before your approach as you are afterward. So Chalcedony sees you approach. Lady of the hour. Come closer. Show me what you've brought.
Equivalent for nothing compared to your magnificent self with the handover of the gift.
She just takes the gift in two fingers and puts it off aside to a henchman that you didn't even see there, that then, like scuttles back out of sight. And a turn.
Try to make this elegant turn. Yeah.
You've lost weight recently.
You're
Stress?
correct. Yes.
Well, if you need it, I've got the best costumers in the city on retainer. If you need something touched up for your next performance, do stop by.
That is a sincerely generous offer, and I suspect I will take you up. Presentation being an enormous part of what we do. With I can do a cantrip at this point, right? We'll do a fluffy little cantrip. So essentially druid craft. You can make a small something. Bubbles in the same color scheme as her that just lift briefly.
Okay.
At presentation.
I'll see what Harridan sees in you. Have you taken the time yet to join the Entertainers Guild here?
I have not yet, madame. My time
I've
here
heard
has
you've been very busy.
a whirlwind, an absolute whirlwind, and I have been trying to enjoy and participate in the city, but have not yet been able to find my groups of people, as it were.
Well, After tonight, if you perform well, every door in Bacchanal Junction will be open to you. Part of the Master's boons. Take advantage of it. Now, I would also, though it's not necessary after this evening, suggest you pay your dues. You don't want hurt feelings out in the junction, do you?
Not at all, and of course, thank you so much for the kind reminder.
Oh, least I could do. Now, go out there and break a wing.
Absolutely, madame. I certainly hope you enjoy the show. And then, where is Desiree? Desireen? At
Desireen?
this juncture, is she?
She's right next to Chalcedony. Go ahead.
Is it so there's an obviousness with presence that is difficult to translate in the way that we're doing right now, and I should be able to read if it would be awkward to thank Desireen for her presence as well. If it is awkward, I'm going to not do it. If it is not awkward, I'm going to thank her as well for bringing the power of whatever the fertility deity's name is to this affair.
And I won't lie, I didn't look it up before game, so I can't remember off the top of my head.
I've been saying Mara in my head because that's what it is in Skyrim, and apparently that's what I can remember.
That'll do for now. I'm sure other names, other cultures, other titles. Funny thing is about gods, call them different stuff, and they still do the same thing. She accepts graciously. From this close, you can see that she is not any race that you've ever seen. She seems to be an amalgam. And in point of fact, at this range, you would probably recognize her as a changeling.
There's an absolute, log for future reference happening in my head.
Okay.
Okay, acknowledged, but my face didn't change. If you think that's impossible, you have not seen me at my job. Here's my professionally neutral face.
All right. So Stan, as you've seen her making the rounds, what do you do as the opening is coming through? There are people serving food. It's a very posh affair. Everyone is in their finest. What are you wearing, by the way?
I'm wearing. I kind of want to wear my armor, but I think really I should be wearing my traveler's clothes. Yeah, I'll wear Moradin robes from some nice Moradin robes borrowed from the church. I don't own any.
Okay.
Try not to get ketchup on it or something.
As you come in the door, as people are filing in, Harridan catches you and says, "No, here, give me your hands. Show me your sleeves." And he touches the sleeves, and it goes from a humble priest's robe to fine silk with a nice good embroidery. It maintains the holy symbol, but now it's don't embarrass her.
Well, I wasn't saying proper priest robes. I was saying I was talking about nicer priest robes. I figured they'd have some, but whatever.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure Harridan would level it up regardless because it's Harridan.
Right. Well, yeah.
It was perfect. He'd add feathers.
Right? He doesn't up your rank, but he does make it nicer.
He's just. So are you saying the robes that Moradin gave me were not fine enough? Well,
You don't see him here. I'm kidding. That's not...
Nice to see you too, Harridan.
You too. Here you had a big day.
A few days ago.
Yeah. Word gets around. Watch yourself, huh?
I'm not in the market district.
It's true. But I hear you make an awful big target.
Only because I got a big back.
Enjoy the show. I've got work to do. And he heads back to working the crab.
Okay, where is that paladin?
All right. Do you make it a point to approach anybody? Struana passing by did mention that somebody likes to compare scars.
Yeah, I'll go talk to the gentleman with tattoos.
That would be this fellow here.
He's near the
Okay.
orchestra pit.
Half-orc fellow, heavily tattooed. Sees you coming. Stan Smith. I thought I might see you here.
Yeah, here to support the home team.
You pal around with this butler. He showed the sign. Huh.
Go big or go home.
She runs around with you.
Yeah.
You don't say. How long?
Few months.
15
right?
sessions.
Yeah, few months.
Yeah. Warrior to warrior. She worth it?
Absolutely. Every good hero needs a bard worth their salt.
Yeah. As long as they're not tripping them up. Got
Yeah.
liability. Holds herself in battle.
Yeah, she saved my butt with some feather fall and fortuitous timing. Definitely.
Gotta respect that then.
Absolutely.
Right? Not everybody gets to stand on the front line though, right?
And bump chest. I don't know.
Well, when you do, he looks like he gets like an anger flash for a second, like he's almost in go time. Like, yeah, you too. Right, as soon as there's physical contact, it's like ah.
And he'll engage him. He'll start comparing some battle wounds, and he doesn't have any tattoos, but he'll listen to stories about tattoos.
All right, so you guys engage while Struana's doing the other. He has a lot of great stories. He has been in a lot of fights. Most of them he picked from just the way the quick round of stories go. And then there was this one time I jumped this son of a, said something about my clan, and I had to teach him what it was about.
Does he have any dragon tattoos?
Nothing draconic. It's all very like large black block, like orcish markings.
But he hasn't fought a dragon.
It's picturesque. It all has like a symbolic meaning to the actual design.
No, I was gonna say I was wondering if he had fought a dragon, there'd be like a dragon on him because it's his history.
Do you speak orc?
No.
There might be. If you ask, he'll show you. Yeah. Right here.
What kind of dragon?
Silver.
Dragons, man. I don't know what to do about that. Some of them are nice, and then they protect the city, and then some of them are not so nice.
Yeah. This one was getting uppity about some of the area one of the tribes was raiding, and we had to tussle about it.
You ever heard of a dragon breathing lava?
Nope. Sounds like a fairy tale.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you continue to engage about scars and battles. He has some good war stories. He is like at some point he'll pull his blades and do some showy things with them and put them back. When he's talking about some sort of very specific thing he did with them, shows them off a little bit.
Nice.
Struana, do you speak with anybody else before going to the staging area? Into the wings?
I was going to grab Stan. That's why I moved over here and go speak to Averline.
Yes.
Okay, Stan. Come with me. Over here.
Come help you?
Yes. Just sort of as we're walking over, like, hey, Stan, this person thinks you're really impressive, and it's basically going to help me look better to them. And while they don't have a vote, it's never a bad idea. Like, very quietly sort of thing. Although my quietly looks like this to you.
So as you approach, most of what the Baroness Marshall is wearing consists of her own wings, draped and in such a way. The wings themselves are decorated. They've got some clasps and bejeweled things on the wing talon. She herself is wearing very little. It is the tradition in this city. There's not a whole lot of say body shaming, and it's also hot. It's a tropical environment in late summer, so
I appreciate these things.
So there's a lot of scale showing. Would be skin on a lesser woman or on a differently backgrounded woman. Bronze scales catch the light beautifully. Stan, you recognize the way a warrior holds themselves, and she is clearly a commander of troops. Even just like the people around her just sort of naturally stand up straighter, just as they're passing by, like,
I'm going to greet her with a very formal full name sort of greeting. Good evening, Baroness Marshall Averline Drox. I'm not saying that as well as pretend I said that correctly.
as strongly.
Plus title, plus if I have any
Lady
other
of the Gate, Marshal of the Republic, Grand General of all forces south of the Wall, etc., etc.
And then the thank you sincerely for there's a very formal way to say this that's difficult for my brain to do, but it's thank you for coming to this performance that I am putting on, or that thank you for coming and watching me, as well as thank you for your continued dedication, service, and effort for protection and
Right. Let's go ahead and start it off with a persuasion check then.
Yeah.
Your etiquette check.
10, right in the middle.
So you say everything right. You get a sense from her face that it's going on a little long.
And then I shorten it.
Well, my aides tell me this will be the social event of the season. I have no cause to doubt them.
Typically, that's reserved for weddings or funerals.
Well, as I understand it, you're not typical.
You would be able to recognize that. Complimentary, not insulting. Complimentary.
So, and I'm in this conversation too, yes? Right?
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yep, you're right there.
Yeah.
We're actually closer
Speaking
than
of-
that. We're just being lazy.
And speaking of atypical, introduce me to your friend.
Happily, this is Stan Smith. I'm giving him like 3 descriptors. Paladin of, is it Mordo?
Moradin.
Morden. Paladin of Morden. There's going to be a Slayer of and a Giant of.
All right.
Figure that out.
And if my intelligence wing is accurate, soon to be named Siegebreaker of Hyperion.
Not a bad title.
Not a bad title at all, Stan.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
And you. I have heard rumors of your crusade in the city.
Yes. I have Struana myself and a distinctive gnome, CliqClaq, have been making good progress on helping the city, but much to be done. Wars to be waged. Against evil, anyway.
There is always evil to be fought. We must pick the time and the battlefields. We shall speak more. You seem dedicated to finding the battlefield for this fight. For the sake of the city. I hope you choose well.
Well, it's never my choice alone. Those don't always work out.
A wise statement. Keep those clever advisors close, and do not turn your back in the city. We've already made enemies.
What happens when you do something interesting?
I like you, Stan Smith. We shall see more of each other. Would you sit with me?
Certainly.
You, get out.
While this is happening, I am just like doing that, like when you're sincerely appreciating your friend getting their due, just like, yeah, man, right on. You are awesome. And like high five Stan, or what is the dwarven equivalent of a high five?
Elbow bump.
Elbow bump. Also a good question for Twitter. Let's go ahead and stick it up.
Right. For the tall folk, you can do it high. The short folk, you go low. As the in-between height race, you got to accommodate.
But a high five before I leave him, which also at an interval that reestablishes that we have a connection. and that we are an intrinsic part of each other's lives at this juncture.
We're cool, right? We're cool.
Well, no, not just we're cool, but let me remind you that we're cool.
As she sweeps her wings out and aside to take a seat, so they drape over her lap. If you can imagine, like a weightlifter body type, scaled with a dragon's head and tail, being seductive, that's what's happening now.
Let me show you my calendar.
Right. She's showing lots of leg, and you see her flex a little.
Two things.
And as she beckons to Stan's seat, she says, "Well, enjoy your preparations."
Preparations?
Oh, to Struana.
Oh, I see.
Enjoy the performance. Like
She looks at
almost like perfunctual, almost military-esque salute, bowish thing before moving.
Right.
And I just have to say two things. One of those is that, Thomas, of all the characters that you described, she is the easiest for me to visualize. And also, my roommate gave me a calendar of dragons having sex, which all of our people can see. This is a fantastic, very silly calendar that I love.
Right. It's
And
actually a little
sunflower.
off frame. If you want to focus over on it.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
When my nails dry a little bit more, I'll move it to August. I've been gone for 2 weeks. But, yeah, seductive. I got that. It's right here. I got that. I'm going to move my camera back.
So do you do anything else before heading to the wings?
I mean, I am going to pass by Sangrid and Brusk and essentially wave at them and be like, I see you, thank you so much for being here, and do that as honestly as I can to both of them. And then...
Brusk is wearing, incidentally, also what you would consider classic Dwarven dress, like ceremonial dress, but no regalia, no tartan, no family symbols. There is a clasp on a cape of a giant tiger's head in precious metals.
And Sangrid all black, slinky black dress.
You know that.
Yeah.
But
I'm
like,
still like
proudly showing off her super awesome arm.
There's the like part where I'm like gonna have feelings about it later, but the moment is you all still came to support me, and I sincerely appreciate that, and I want you to know that, but I don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna go perform.
All right.
So like, I see you. Thanks for being here.
I appreciate the invite and the +1. I can't imagine any other time I'd be able to socialize with all this sort of crowd all at once. Quite a feat you've performed.
I am pretty sure Harridan performed the feat. I'm just a performer.
Well, knock 'em dead.
Yeah. We're certainly going to try. Thank you for the well wishes.
All right. So, you head off to the wings. The lights go down. Everyone takes their seat. Stan, there's a tail caressing your calf.
There's like the sound of an orchestra pit warming up that goes with this, even though that's not happening.
No, it really is, because Harridan takes the stage and does the like orchestra sound because that just tells people to shut up. the THX. Da 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 da. And then begins the introduction. Ladies, gentlemen, other assorted genders, races, ages of all sorts, welcome. I, of course, am your city's humble laureate, Harridan Wildeblank. Pause for applause. And thunderous applause.
Yes.
Gestures them down, and they all go down with his hands. But tonight, you didn't come to see me. No, I'm just a bonus. I am barely the opening act. You, all of you, have come to see these very important people in the front seat. Can we give a hand to our and starts pointing out the masters and there's laughs in the crowd as he does. They all stand one by one. He gives them the rolls out the titles, ends it with Chalcedony, and she flies up around to the top and does a pirouette bow and flies back down and lands in her seat. But the real show, Struana Hardjaw, and then. So you are in the wings below the stage. An iris opens above you, and the stage is levitated up to about stage level. About 6 feet of the crowd, and to thunderous applause and what I assume are pyrotechnics.
Yes.
You take the stage. We'll pause there and leave everybody waiting to see what happens next. To see what happens next, go ahead and subscribe. That'll let you know when the next video comes out. If you like this one, hit like. And if you want all of this to get a little bit better, little piece at a time, hop over to our Patreon. And meantime, have a good game.